J-Dog, easy play, anytime, stop, nada, much. Slayer Boxer, C, Bisu, Savior, 16 of the most powerful StarCraft gamers in the world. LG, Intel Centrino, Com TV, Star Invitational.
The game has begun, and Flash is at the far right. On a map that does not favor him. He is down 2 games, making it very hard for him to recover from this. He did beat Stork the first time on this map. There's Stork. And he's going to have to learn from his mistakes if he wants to take this home now. On the forum, someone says, shout out to Yellow Journalist and his tennis ball. All right. Someone else says, shout out to Cry Clan. To Cry Clan. I wouldn't want to be on a clan with a bunch of people that cry. Somebody else says, Jesus would have built battle cruisers. Shout out to the cookies at Virginia Tech. Somebody else says, shout out to Mad Villain and SoCal. Shout out to In Midair, excuse me. And finally, somebody says, shout out to Lost the Game Clan. We love vulture bikes. I hate vulture bikes. They always kill my probes. So, going back to the game. Stork has not made a gateway. This could mean a fast nexus. In fact, it will mean a fast nexus if he doesn't get the gateway. Fast Nexus is one of those builds it's very, very strong, but you have to know what you're doing. And as we saw last time, Stork lost his Nexus when he did this build. It's just a really risky build to try to pull off. But at the same time, the expansion is in the back of your main, so you don't actually have to try to gain any ground to get the expansion. It's very, very easy, simply put, to expand. I actually believe that Terran got the Vespian gas geyser before the barracks. I could be mistaken. I just got a glance at it. I was drinking some water, but that means that Terran's going to be going for a very, very heavy gas build. Probably because he wants to prepare for carriers, which are almost inevitable on this map. Gateway and Vespian gas geyser being constructed. And Stork has decided it's time to start scouting. Note that on this map, you're very far away from your Vespian gas geyser, which makes it a little bit trickier. You have to put 4 SCVs in there instead of the usual 3. Now, Flash has discovered that his opponent's fast Nexus, and he could tell that just by going into the base and seeing that there is no Dragoon already. Even the number of probes that Stork opts to transfer have all been calculated in his mind. All these builds very carefully orchestrated, like you would memorize chess opening. And Terran has now gotten his command center as well. Very, very by-the-book builds on this map. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. Stork carefully maneuvers the probe around the Marine. It looks like he will go in there and try to scout it. Zealot out now. This is one of the many different types of openings you can do with the fast Nexus. 1 Zealot followed up with 2 Dragoons that have Dragoon range. This opening is particularly good at holding off Terran rushes. And here comes the probe harassing that SCV. So at this point in time, we can expect to see a fairly withdrawn game, focusing on macro. Although Stork may actually be doing some type of rush. I take it back because he is moving out now. Not to mention Flash has neglected making too many Marines. Okay, oh my god, this could be very bad for Flash. He's actually lifted the barracks off. It looks like Flash may have been shaken up by the sudden fact that he is behind in this game, and he has not been playing on his back very often. Here comes a Vulture Bike trying to lay some mines, but the Zealot will be able to absorb all the mine damage. Now he has to lay these mines quickly or he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And Flash knows that. I know that. You know that. We all know that. And here come the Dragoons edging by this spider mine. And it looks like Flash may be able to hold this off, but even that's hard to say. More and more Dragoons are beginning to pile up. Flash needs a tank. He needs something. He needs something to help hold this off. And one Dragoon triggered a spider mine. It has been taken out. He's now using the SCVs at the ramp to try to slow the Protoss down, but he's losing resources while he does this. Meanwhile, Stork has to be very careful. He's blind right now. He cannot see where the mines are unless he spotted them while they're being laid, which is pretty hard to do when you're macroing, and that's what happens if you don't know and you walk into one like that. Flash desperately trying to produce a unit, like a tank or something that he can use to hold off. Once again, the armory build opens up, but I think this is the only way that Terran can play on this map is with that fast armory. And it looks like he's got to be very careful. Excellent micro, using the hold position, move back micro. Very hard to do, very dangerous. Now he's got to be careful because he's getting closer and closer to the minefield, and here, Stork's attempt to be aggressive is failing. And it looks like he's going to be going for a Reaver drop, though, which Terran may not be prepared for. Terran may be attempting to get a tank right now just to try to hold this off. And Vulture Bikes will not be able to do the harassment that they love so much. That the Lost Game Clan loves so much. Someone else says, shout out to Energy Clan from Europe. Staying up all night to watch this. They want Stork to win. Someone else says to the Shand residence. Maybe it's Sand residence. Shand residence. Cheers to you guys. Somebody else says, shout out to Jama's place. We're loving it all here. Somebody else says, shout out to the University of Idaho and tribalwar.com. Someone else, it seems like PvT has evolved multiple times in response to each other's, in response to players doing things like this in the tournament. The fast armory seems to be a response to the carriers, while Stork just used heavy ground to respond to that build. Yes, I think so. I think they're both players are playing off of each other, but Flash has to play this game right if he wants to win. Stork almost taking out that barracks. If he had lost that barracks, it would have delayed how many more factories he could have gotten, which would have been pivotal in a moment like this when Terran needs to push at the right time. He's got to be very careful with the shuttle as well. Stork cannot afford to lose the shuttle, or his carrier tech will be ruined, because the Reaver is not only there for harassment, but also to hold back the Terran push until you can get at least a handful of shuttles, not a handful of carriers. God, I talk like a noob sometimes. I hate it. Oh, man. Flash is already prepared for the shuttle to come over this way. Stork may not be able to get inside of his base at all. Four gates, and now the carrier tech begins. This is the same build that we saw Stork do in a previous Protoss versus Terran against... Oh, I forget who, but it was in this tournament, and it's probably one of the safer ways you can tech to carriers. Unlike when we saw Bisu get, I believe it was one gateway and then tech directly to the carriers. Observers are out now, so the Terran minefields can be picked off a little bit more. Terran loses a little bit more map control in situations like this. And the science facility is building. I'm sure that Flash has it timed so that the science facility finishes the exact time that the first armory upgrade finishes. If you guys want to copy a build, Flash is the one to copy because it served him pretty well in this tournament. Oh, and he's trying to sneak a Reaver over here, but it looks like Flash pulls some SCVs away. Stork putting a heavy containment over here, now dashing in. I don't know if this is smart or stupid, but it looks like he seriously believes. Whoa, losing the shuttle. Now taking out a few SCVs. Bad news for Flash. That entire attack was there for the purpose of getting the Reaver to gain some ground and pick off a few SCVs, but now Stork has lost the shuttle and he has lost the Reaver, making him very susceptible to a possible push. This is going to be tough. Very, very tough now, but especially if Terran decides to push at the right time. Here come the Dragoons, though, marching out, and these tanks do not have enough cover, which means they can be picked up by Dragoons. But is it enough? And it looks like, wow, okay, Protoss does not have an army right now, to say the least, which means Terran may push within 1 to 2 minutes and attempt to squash Protoss before the Protoss can get enough carriers. No, he's going to push right now, sending a bunch of SCVs with it as well, just to back up the fact that he doesn't have too much support for the tanks. Oh, no, I'm a nuke, man. He's just expanding. All right. And it looks like now the carriers are out, but he needs more than that. He will possibly attempt to harass this expansion. Now, how exactly is Terran going to respond to this type of carrier harassment? This just seems like the phase of the game where Flash is his strongest on this map. But he's going to need a reasonable amount of Goliaths if he wants to do whatever damage he thinks he can pull off. Trying to pick off a few tanks, Stork picks off, well, he takes out one and then tries to see if his opponent has enough tanks where he can go in for the kill move with just the ground units. But Stork is a little distracted, and the probe transfer there is late. Stork probably a bit nervous now that he's lost all of those Dragoons. This is going to be pretty tough. Pretty tough for Protoss. Protoss looked like he had an advantage until he lost like all of his Dragoons. But Protoss could still win this because the carriers are in the game. I'm not so big on the carriers just yet, simply because Flash seems to not have any trouble against them. All right. Terran picking off some units on the ground here. Protoss has to back up, and it looks like Stork is disappointed with the number of units that Flash has produced. And Flash, due to the close proximity, may be pushing sooner rather than later. He's got another shuttle and possibly another Reaver inside. More carriers being pumped by the Protoss. The more carriers that Stork can get, the more of a nightmare this is going to be for Flash. And Flash knows that, but he's a patient player, he's a genius, and he's waiting for the exact right moment to strike. Here comes a shuttle for some possible harassment, but no, he's going right into the towers. Oh my God! That was sloppy. What? Okay. Flash has suddenly paused the game. I don't know. I actually think this is illegal to do in tournaments too, which, all right, I don't even know what's going on. There may have been a technical difficulty. Oh, hold on one second. I'm going to have somebody figure out why this game's paused real fast. Don't know what's happening. Probably some type of technical difficulty. Sometimes I've seen in tournaments where the keyboard goes out or the mouse goes out. Talk about an awful position, though, right now for Stork. Suddenly losing that shuttle, and now the game's paused, and he has to sit there and think about it. Again, this is something that rarely ever happens in StarCraft tournaments, an in-game pause. And I'm curious as to what exactly happened. Hopefully we'll get some news on that pretty soon. Hold on just one second. All right. We're going to find out soon here exactly what the whole pause was about. And hold on. Oh, okay. Flash accidentally paused the game. Believe it or not, this actually can happen sometimes. The F10 key sometimes gets bumped during the game. It looks like he was too excited and accidentally paused the game. But here's the problem: is that that's illegal. Hold on. Oh, okay. I'm getting. Okay, if pauses come at critical moments in the game, they occasionally force the players to rematch. Wow. The drama never ends at the GOM TV StarCraft Invitational. So that doesn't mean that we're necessarily going to see a rematch. I don't know I don't know what's going on, but it's a possibility. And I have no idea what's happening. The referee has gone into the booth and talked to Flash, and the ref is going to come inform us soon about what exactly is going to happen. They're now pulling the Samsung Con coach into the back room. Some of you may be surprised, but yes, it actually does happen. Occasionally people have accidentally paused the game. I once accidentally left a game. I mean, how does that happen? Just, when you're in tournaments like this, and for those of you who don't really play StarCraft competitively, when you look at a pro gamer's left hand, it's moving so rapidly all across the keyboard that sometimes it's very easy to suddenly move over like an extra inch and hit a button that you didn't want to, or even a combination. Hold on. Oh. All right, I'm back. Apparently I was misinformed the first time. It was not an accidental pause. Flash, during the game, stepped on the back of the cord of the monitor and unplugged the monitor, thus resulting in him doing a quick pause. I guess in that moment, when the reaver drop came, I guess he jerked his body in a certain way, and the monitor cord popped out, and he had to pause. And because of that, that was the reason. And they do have somebody, I guess, I don't know if they have like a camera in the booth or they have somebody watching at a certain angle, but apparently that is what happened, so they can confirm that. And, all right, take it easy, Stork. Attack your enemies, not your own buildings. Okay, but, so yeah, that's what happened. So, talk about a tense moment here. Suddenly, Flash has a nervous twitch and pauses the game because his monitor's unplugged. Now has to go back. I hope he hasn't lost that momentum. I hope he's still in the zone because now Stork has 5 carriers. And somebody else says, oh, shout out to Day 9. That's my brother. Good to see that he's watching. Along with about 40 other people from Harvey Mudd College. Nice. All right, here we see the Dragoons going to try to drive back some Goliaths. The big question we got to ask ourselves is, are Flash's upgrades good enough? It really honestly looks like Stork has a big advantage here because he's already taken that expansion in the bottom left. And Vulture Bikes are moving in. And I don't know how effective these are honestly going to be. Oh, those are not cannons. Those are pylons. So they actually will be quite effective. And it looks like he's going to go past that rather than attack the probes. Don't ask me why. Picking off a few Dragoons with those spider mines. Now picking off... Now attacking probes. And this is not good for Stork. He's at least behind a little bit. Now going to rush forward. Stork completely not using his carriers. Now going to try to attack a few more probes. And Stork did not want to lose these probes. I don't know how much this will impact the game because the number of carriers is getting larger and larger and larger by the minute. And now Flash has decided to push. It's push time, and he has a lot of Goliaths to attack one armor. Once again, the Flash build. But this is going to be a tough angle for Terran to attack from. And look at this, now attacking these carriers. Stork trying to pick off these tanks. Looks like he's going to go for the hold position micro to try to pick off the interceptors. And I'm not sure who's actually winning this battle right now. It's hard to say, but it does look like there are less and less interceptors and more Goliaths moving in now. And Stork is losing too many interceptors and is now going to have to pull back and rebuild. Meanwhile, this gives Flash an opportunity to push across the map. Clearly, the hold position micro is the way to do this. Now counterattacking the Terran expansion. And it looks like Flash will follow up by going ahead and taking out these Dragoons. Now Stork is going to have to retreat from this attack. but it has at least bought Stork some time to build some more interceptors. Uh-oh. This is not good for Stork. He's already lost the base of his ground army. And hold that thought for just 1 second. Again, it looks like Terran's pushing up now. This is going to be bad news for Protoss. Unless Protoss can pick off enough Goliaths. He's down as a +2 attack for his carriers. Hold position with the Goliaths, going to go for the interceptors. And we will soon see who will come out on top. Will it be the Goliaths or the interceptors? And it looks like once again the Goliaths are doing a great job. Meanwhile, the siege tanks coming in here, picking off an expansion. The carriers have to back off again. This is the secret to beating Protoss, is to use those Goliaths and focus fire the interceptors. With a +2 attack upgrade, the interceptors die too rapidly. Now the Nexus goes down. Flash may move in for the kill on the main. More carriers attempting to stop any Goliath reinforcement. Stork knows he has to do everything in his power to stop the Goliaths from coming, and here they come now towards the main. More Dragoons and carriers will soon rejoin the fight. But these Dragoons, without the support of carriers, are pretty much useless. A +1 upgrade to the shields. Good for carriers, not good for Dragoons. Now more Goliaths entering the battle. Siege tank sieging up in range of the Nexus. And he's trying to do anything in his power to stop this from moving on so many carriers, but no interceptors to support them. This is something you rarely see on this map, Katrina, but it's something you always see when Flash is playing. Stork probably has a 20% chance of winning now. He's in awful shape. Now responding by going towards the expansion. He knows he can't engage that army directly, but if Flash can push up to where the Stargates are, it will be awful, 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 awful for him. Another carrier's taken out, and another carrier's taken out. And the Nexus will now go down. The 2 cybernetics cores making it impossible to rebuild Dragoons or even upgrade the carriers further. Stork will be entirely dependent on carriers, which are being, well, they're having a tough time against these Goliaths. And it looks like Stork may have enough carriers possibly to take this out this time, but the siege tank's doing so much damage to the ground. Now suddenly the Goliaths move in for the kill move on the carriers. Stork desperately trying to retreat, but to no avail as more and more carriers are picked up. Meanwhile, Flash has already taken up 2 more expansions, making it nearly impossible for him to recover. I don't even know what Flash could do right now to respond to this. More Goliaths on the way to reinforce this, and siege tank sieging up to pick off Dragoons and the remaining robotics facility. With enough Goliaths in the game, Flash knows he no longer needs to attack the interceptors. Okay, never mind. I guess he's going to do that. But now he's going to move in for the carriers. This is very, very bad for Stork. It could not be worse right now. And the closer he gets to the Stargates. And once Stork loses the Stargates, there is no hope for him. Not that there's too much of a hope for him right now. As the 15-year-old badass marches across the map with his Goliaths, taking out carriers, squashing them like bugs. This could not be worse for Stork. This is so bad. Now going and ignoring the small amount of carriers over here, knows that now he can just take out this expansion. It looks like on the minimap, Stork is attempting to build something at the top left. GG, Stork is surrounded. We're at 2-2 now. It's a tied game. And unbelievable. Flash looks very determined. Stork takes a gulp of water, unsure of how exactly to beat Flash in this next game. This is going to be very, very difficult. Wow. It's turned out to be an amazing game. Now, to everybody's shock, Flash keeps beating Protoss on Katrina, the map where Protoss almost always win. Using that hold position micro with the Goliaths, to just eat up all the interceptors. Many other Terran players making the mistake of rushing in there and actually directly attacking, directly attacking the carriers themselves. Flash has shown us exactly how to play on this game with that +2 attack upgrade. Stork, overall, it was pretty much a sloppy game from the beginning. He was losing Dragoons in that rush. Then he just threw his shuttle away with no gain whatsoever. And finally, Flash, weathering the storm, comes out and walks all over Stork. Very impressive game. The final map is Blue Storm, a map we did see Flash defeat Stork on. Or no, excuse me, Stork beat Flash on. This is going to be very difficult for both players. And someone says, shout out to the Red vs. Blue website, Bloodmore, Echo, and Tonight. Glad you guys are watching. I hope you guys are as pumped as I am for the next game. Oh man, I bet Flash is so relieved to have won that game on a map that is so difficult for Terrans in general. Someone says, so far we have... Oh, excuse me. All right, I am allowed to give out the numbers. So far we've had 500,000 unique IPs logged in and watching. So let me just put it like this. I'm happy to tell you guys that we have gone above and beyond our initial expectations for how many people are going to tune in and watch this. That's pretty badass. So it really proves that everybody loves StarCraft, not just Koreans. It's just the Koreans that are actually good at it. Everybody else is a noob. But that's okay. Flash has joined the game, and we're still waiting on Stork, who is probably rewatching the replay in frustration. Many pro gamers are required to rewatch every single game that they lose so that they don't assume that they lost for a reason that they in fact did not. That was an amazing game. Even Flash accidentally unplugging his monitor as he moved his feet underneath the table, kicking the cord out. And, wow, it's funny because a lot of times you can get disqualified for something like that. But, for pausing the game. But in a moment like that, they have to let you keep playing because it was a complete accident. Whoa. It looked like Flash was so bored with that last game, he was actually about to fall asleep. Stork knows that the pressure is really on him right now to win this game. And it looks like this last game is going to be all that it boils down to. This is going to be one hell of a game, guys. Is Flash going to prove that he is the winner of the GOM TV StarCraft Invitational with the 16 best StarCraft players of all time? The newest and the youngest player here turns out to possibly be the best. That would be an amazing story. Flash is only 15 years old, a freshman in high school, although I believe he's homeschooled because, or at least he has some type of teacher that teaches him from the Pro Team house because I know most of the pro gamers that play are not in school at all because they've pretty much devoted their lives to StarCraft. But clearly he's smart as ever because he is able to pull off these unbelievable wins against the best players of all time, taking out, Flash is taking out players like Savior, Jaedong, Anytime. Players that have been around for a long time, players that were expected to win the tournament, players that, in all honesty, have just simply played for much longer than he has and have much more experience playing in front of people. So Flash is really someone you have to be in awe of right now. This is rather unusual that you would even see something like this. A lot of pro gamers used to say that it was pretty much impossible for anybody to become a pro gamer until they were at least the age 17 because they didn't believe that the brain had developed enough cognitively to pull off all the procedures which are required and to do all the multitasking. So that's pretty cool to see that there is somebody that can be this good as so young and possibly even be the best. We'll find out soon enough. We're still waiting for this game to start on Blue Storm. Now Stork has joined the game, so we may be beginning soon enough. This has really turned out to be an incredible event. It is packed in here. Half of the crowd is Flash fans. They're all sitting there with orange stuff on or orange balloons or orange something. The other half of the crowd is Stork fans, mostly using white, the Samsung Con team color. It's just been incredible. And I guess you win that GOM TV Star Invitational Goblet. Go home and drink a beer out of that bad boy. You'll feel pretty good about yourself. Although you can't do that yet, Flash. You're not old enough. Actually, I wonder if Flash... Isn't like the ESR rating on StarCraft like 16? Is Flash even allowed to be playing this game right now? I probably shouldn't be saying that, but I mean, seriously, you have to wonder. Maybe I'd have his parents buy him the game. I don't know. Oh, the game's starting.
Knock 'em down.